In 2003, a 25-year-old young alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and IIM Calcutta, having opted out of a lucrative corporate career, was driven by the inspiring exhortation of selfless service given by Swami Vivekananda. This man, Vinayak Lohani, resolved to devote his entire life to serve the divine in man, as taught by Swami Vivekananda. In 2003, with just 3 children in a small rented building on the outskirts of Kolkata, he started a Parivaar, a home and family for children from deprived, homeless and destitute backgrounds. Scarcely did he know that the seeds of service he was sowing would become a huge tree in the years to come, spreading across various parts of the country and changing the lives of thousands of destitute and impoverished children. His dream Parivaar has, for the last 16 years, been working towards the total care and overall development of children who are highly vulnerable to exploitation, victimization and trafficking, like orphans, street children, abandoned children and extremely impoverished children from tribal areas. In Bengal, Parivaar has 2 residential educational institutions, Parivaar Vivekanand Sevashram for boys and Parivaar Sharda Tirth for girls. With over 2,200 resident children, these are West Bengal's largest free residential institutions for children from deprived and destitute backgrounds. There, Parivaar provides all opportunities for education and overall child development in a loving and caring atmosphere for boys and girls from the early age of 5 till their higher education of university-level graduation and employability programs. From 2016, Parivaar has started working in Madhya Pradesh, where it has set up 135 meals-cum-education centers called Shri Ramakrishna Vivekanand Seva Kutir, serving more than 11,000 children in selected impoverished tribal and rural pockets in Devas, Sihor, Mandla, Shivpur and Chindwara districts. This is the story of Parivaar, Vinayak Lohani's vision and its fulfillment.
One day it struck me that I should start a shelter home for children from very difficult backgrounds, and to whom I could dedicate my whole life. I could bring them up as my own younger brothers and younger sisters. So in that spirit, as a guardian to them, I can live my whole life. I was first looking for land where I could start and then do some construction in that land. But even a small piece of land was costing so much that, it was just beyond any kind of imagination that I had. So I decided to start in a rented building. I therefore saw a few buildings and finally zeroed on a rented building which was near the IIM campus, and rent of which was around 12,000 rupees. So I started taking lectures for MBA aspirants in some coaching institutes in Calcutta, and through that I could meet this rent.
The support base of Parivaar started improving as word spread among his friends, batchmates and institute alumni. His mother, who lived by the simple philosophy of good actions lead to good results, was the first donor of Parivaar.
So in this way I started. First 3 children I brought from a village around 20 kilometers from Kolkata, from extremely deprived backgrounds. And with that, after 15 days, another 10 children came. So in this, at the end of say 2 months, I had around 30 children.
The initial domains Vinayak Lohani focused on were those of orphan children, children living on railway platforms, girls from the red light areas of Kolkata, and children stuck in child labour. When the organizational muscle of Parivaar strengthened, It also moved to develop field areas in various tribal districts of Bengal and Jharkhand and began to admit children from these areas as well. After operating in a rented building for a year, Parivaar moved to its own campus in late 2004, and for the next 7 years till 2011, it served as a common campus for both boys and girls, when Parivaar Sharda Tirth, a separate girls' campus, was started, which too has been on an upscale trajectory since then. Parivaar also has 2 school units, one each at both campuses. At these schools called Amar Bharat Vidyapith, the children study till the higher secondary level. The Parivaar Bengal residential institutions have children from 12 districts in Bengal, 3 in Jharkhand and a few pockets in Bihar. Every year, Parivaar screens more than 1,500 cases of needy children for admission. These children are in the age group of 5 to 10. Parivaar has a detailed pre-admission screening process, which includes a site visit to ascertain that the child is extremely needy and in requirement of long-term residential support. Parivaar also ensures that there is a minimal possibility of the child dropping out after admission. Both the campuses have residential blocks, dining halls, medical blocks, prayer halls, libraries and computer labs, arts and activity halls and play fields, which have many different outdoor sporting facilities. A Parivaar worker is called Sevavrati, meaning one who is dedicated to the ideal of service. There are caregivers called house brothers and house mothers, nurses and a paramedical team, teachers, tutors helping in after-school studies, cooks and kitchen helpers along with supervisory staff. Children who had no opportunity of going to school and whose nutrition, safety and well-being were also under question now start aspiring to be teachers, nurses, software programmers and entering many other such careers. A high happiness quotient at Parivaar is the reason for the negligible dropout rate. The atmosphere around Parivaar lends itself to self-esteem and creates hope amongst the resident children. 100% of the children of Parivaar appearing for the board exam clear the exam with decent scores. Every child at Parivaar is able to aspire to a brighter future based on the quality education and life skills that they receive. All the children continue till the higher secondary level, after which many are admitted into university level education and skill and employability programs and are handheld through the phase of transitioning into independent life. Thus, each child stays with Parivaar for a period of 12 to 15 years. More than 200 of Parivaar's children who have gone through the entire residential program are now gainfully employed.
The emotional and psychological nurturing of each child, I think that is of a very high level, and that I believe is the most important achievement of Parivaar. Now, second is that the aspiration level of the children completely changes because their esteem need here is really fulfilled. The self-respect and the respect from others that they get here from our Sevavatis, just like in a family, how you are sensitively dealt with.
With Parivaar well established in Bengal, Vinayak Lohani thought it was now time to take a leap towards exploring new frontiers. From 2013 onwards, with a view to expand Parivaar in other geographies, Vinayak Lohani began exploring possibilities in other states. Parivaar zeroed in on Madhya Pradesh, where it could create relationships with local groups in tribal pockets in the districts of Devas, Sihor, Mandla, Shiopur and Chhindwara. Madhya Pradesh has the highest percentage of malnourished children in the country, which in some areas is even as high as 80%. This is even worse than sub-Saharan regions in many indices of malnourishment. As a result of this vision, Parivaar started community day boarding centers called Shri Ramakrishna Vivekanand Seva Kutirs, which provided meals and strong supplementary education to children in the age group of 4 to 14 years in selected impoverished tribal areas. The venues for all these Seva Kutirs was offered by the village community free of cost. Usually it is somebody's house, panchayat building, community hall, school in its non-functioning hours, or even a shed or a godown. Thus, Parivaar does not incur any infrastructure costs for this. By June 2019, Parivaar had set up 135 Seva Kutirs serving 11,000 children in these 5 districts. There are 49 Seva Kutirs in Devas, 44 in Sihor, 25 in Mandla, 10 in Shivpur and 7 in Chhindwara district.
We thought of this model of daytime centers, which would also not clash with the government schooling system, because we did not want to create a parallel system of schooling in addition to what the government was already doing, but in fact we wanted to strengthen and supplement the government schooling system. So what we formulated was a 2-shift engagement of children in morning shift and evening shift.
This model, that was named Seva Kutir, followed a 2-pronged program which consisted of various child development activities as well as providing nutritious meals, breakfast in the morning shift from 7 to 10:30 and a wholesome dinner in the evening shift from 4 to 7:30. Parivaar identifies the poorest of the poor tribal villages, where there would be around 100 children in the age group of 3 to 14, and through its local community anchors initiates dialogue with the village communities and the panchayat. These villages are typically small and the people mostly have a forest-based livelihood, with some of them also working as seasonal labor on lands of more prosperous farmers in other areas. Very few have any substantial land of their own. The panchayat and the local communities send a formal letter of invitation to Parivaar offering venue options and local support. Parivaar zeroes in on a venue and starts the Seva Kutir operations. These kutirs are organized on a cluster basis, where 5 to 6 kutirs are under one cluster. There is one education coordinator and one nutrition and operational coordinator. The cluster coordinator visits each kutir of his or her cluster on a daily basis and oversees the performance of the kutirs in that cluster. Additionally, there is a central team of education experts which conducts teacher training on a regular basis for all the clusters and monitors the impact of the program. The baseline survey analysis threw up some shocking results. There was 70 to 80% malnutrition among children in most of the villages, and in a few, the malnourishment was at a disturbing 100%. A new menu was designed immediately to address this problem. This has led to a notable impact in addressing the problems of protein and vitamin deficiencies in these children. The ambitious vision of Parivaar is to empower these children through a broad-based education. There are opportunities for personal growth, and the inculcation of values is stressed upon.
So eventually we also plan to set up a full-scale residential institution for children, just like our institutions in Bengal. In fact, the construction of that institution is in full swing in the place called Sandalpur in Devas district. And our idea here is that children who are, say, catered at the Seva Kutir level, after that will join this residential institute. So say preferably at the age of 12 or 13. So right from an early age, we would serve the children and cater to the children at the very community based solution, which is the Seva Kutir, and after that this more institutionalized form of solution, which is the residential educational institutions.
The Seva Kutir had a humble start in 2017. The momentum that has been achieved is very significantly because of the deep engagement of the local communities in the program. It was due to this that the Seva Kutir's program became viral in its expansion, and more dimensions were added to enhance the scope of the program. When he took the first step of bringing 3 children in the rented building outside Kolkata, Vinayak Lohani had never imagined the scale his Parivaar would reach. But still, he says that there is a long way to go. Driven by his master, Swami Vivekananda's message of serving the divine in human beings, Vinayak Lohani's Parivaar marches ahead each day, bringing joy and transformation into the lives of thousands.